Hello, Internet. This is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Whirlwind Ladder Edition to bring you another StarCraft Shoutcast 2 kind of thing. With me, as always, is Nav. How you doing over there, buddy?
Pretty great.
Awesome. Today, the players are going to be OneGun spawning as the Red Protoss. His opponent is going to be llvuJay. We're just going to go ahead and call him Jay from now on. Spawning as the Blue Zerg. But it looks like he did spawn random, and being the good guy that Jay is, he let him head and let his opponent know what he was, and that is a Zerg.
Yep, just trying to be the sporting figure that most people on ladder aspire not to be. And just going and telling them what it is. I mean, granted, I still scout, anyway, just a little bit later, just to see if they're being truthful. But he's being truthful here, so nice move.
Yeah, very well played. Very well played, Jay. Yeah, but right now we actually see an interesting position on this pylon. No matter what race you're playing against, behind this mineral line, I've never seen this before. Have you? Like, especially on a ladder map.
Nope, but generally they do because they're trying to hide something, and there is that sneaky devil of a move, that forge.
And immediately this probe is going to be pushed out and start scouting. If this was a cannon rush, this probe should have already scouted off a single base. Already, since it would have been pushed out in an initial move. But we see him scouting around this huge map that is Whirlwind, and he's gonna finally catch up to where his opponent is in about, I don't know, a minute and a half or so. Do you think there's gonna be an all-out cannon rush?
I really don't know, just because of the fact that if you want to do a cannon rush, like you're saying, yeah, definitely should have been scouting out way before this. And maybe even had a probe in position to already have a pylon set up and immediately start warping in cannons. So I'm not quite sure what he's doing now. I think that was a bit of a fluke, as he's throwing down a nexus now as well as a forward pylon. So I think this is just a bit of a mess up here. He's just trying to fast expand out of this.
Yeah, I think it was because he was going up against a random opponent, so he didn't know what he was doing, and then he took his opponent's word for it that he was Zerg. So he didn't know what his opponent was when he put down that pylon, and then his opponent did say Zerg, and that's when he says, like, okay, I got to forge fast expand without the forge at the front, So he's got to be breathing a sigh of relief at the point where he's going to be walking around on creep and saying, okay, I'm not going up against the Protoss player that's foregating me at the moment,
Yeah, that's definitely a sigh of relief, but still not that much of a comforting thought, because he could already have 6-8 lings just run up in here. No semblance of a wall is going to be here for quite some time. No way to shoo out those pesky neighbors that you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually happened to me on ladder earlier. I moved out to do some early harassment. I left my wall unattended with the Zealot Stalker Mothership combo, and then he already had 18 lings by that time, and just streamed waltz right in. I managed to block off the original stream with a photon overcharge and some cheeky shenanigans, but after that it was just all over, and that's just a sad day for a Protoss player.
Indeed, like the fall of Ire.
Oh, I got too soon, man. Too soon. Here we go. We see that the initial two Zerglings already coming up the front of the ramp. Ooh.
Those probes saying, come at me, bro.
Yeah, OneGun almost lost a single probe. They're not hugely detrimental, but still, you don't really want to see a probe go down to just foolhardy like that. But he did manage to save it, so it's okay. Shields are recharging. And the initial two Zerglings there, very standard. One to take the watchtower, one to take the front of the natural expansion you see when your opponent decides to move on out. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty gateway heavy. He already has 2 gas. He's not having any kind of upgrades from that force, so no +1 attack. The Cybernetics Core just finishes up. He's actually going for shields. That's interesting choice, and this is just interesting. This tells me either one of two things. He's either going to go for mass air, where that shield is much more, or it tells me 3 things. Mass shield, shields where he goes mass air, or he's going to go for a Zealot Archon kind of thing, or he just doesn't know what upgrades to get, and he decided shields is just what he wants.
Yep, a little bit more generically helpful for the Protoss, since it does affect their buildings, their air units, their infantry, pretty much everything. So that's one good thing that shield is good for. Unfortunately, Jay was supply blocked for a little bit, so it really halted his ability to make drones. That's why this worker count here is still relatively even, in fact favoring our Protoss by just 2 right now. But he's really got to keep those overloads turning out here, because the Zerg needs to be ahead in macro, needs to be crushingly ahead in drones, if they want to transition successfully into the late game and try to get this thing won.
And right now we already see a macro hatch going down in the main base of Jay, while at the same time taking his surge. So I expect to see a lot of Zerglings all over the map, especially with that double Evo chamber, maybe even some Banelings being churned out as well, because a macro hatch this early, it's very an interesting choice, and both these players are doing a build that's not prototypical, and frankly I'm enjoying it. With this expansion at the 3 o'clock position, that's gonna might get immediately scouted.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if he moves this overload. If he doesn't, then this could really work in his favor. But this is really far away. This base is really vulnerable to to just a Ling run by. I mean, you're gonna have to throw down several cannons and have a Mama Core there just to even think about holding off pressure. And that's not to say if he just throws his main army at this, it won't fall down too.
And looks like my prediction came true just a little bit. Twilight Council being put down, double Stargate being warped in as we speak, along with double assimilator. So he's gonna be very gas heavy. He could actually stand to put down a couple more gateways. It looks like +1 weapons upgrade is being researched immediately, so he's gonna be favoring that Sky Toss sort of build, and something that I thoroughly enjoy. But at the same time, Jay is still just macroing up very heavily. Finally, that Queen production is getting in his favor a little bit with that Larva Inject. Is going to go ahead and pass his Protoss opponent in a worker count, but still no significant tech out of himself, aside from that Baneling Nest and all those drones being produced.
Yep, and I just kind of checked Blue's vision here, and he cannot see that geyser for the Protoss just below him. So he is literally just barely out of range, so he still does not know about this base just yet. If he can mine from this for a while and really fund this air army that he is going for, then this could really work.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Overseer stops right at the edge of the map, so he has 2 overlords just flanking OneGun's secret expansion. Oh my!
Don't say it too loud.
Oh, sorry. At the same time, OneGun is building himself up a nice little Void Ray army. He already has 2 on the field, 2 in production. Fleet Beacon already there with 3rd Stargate being warped in. So, Hydralisk Den is being what is it? Built, morphed, warped, morphed in by the burst. It is being birthed by Jay, so he's gonna be decent on that anti-air. But that macro hatch, alongside with those that 3rd expansion, it's really gonna ramp up the larva. I mean, already he has 2 pages worth of larva just sitting there ready to be morphed into something. Oh man,
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Carriers.
Oh, carriers. And normally you would say, oh, carriers insta win, Void Rays insta win, but not if your opponent has those low health mass units like a Lings. You know, he could attack the 3rd expansion. If he did he finally spot that? No, he hasn't. He moved the Overseer back down. If he attacks this 3rd base, pulls the Void Rays and carriers to it, he could just storm the front and pretty much win, especially if he does a Baneling bust. Looks like OneGun feels something very, oh, look at that. Nidus Worm.
And with a Stalker just so close, he could have easily denied this Nidus Worm if he was just a bit closer, maybe had a pylon over here to give some vision, but this is going to hurt.
This is definitely going to hurt. We see a couple Void Rays, and it looks like OneGun immediately reacts, but oh, look at that. 3 photon cannons there for defense. It looks like it's going to be Hydralisk. The Zerglings are finally going to go streamlining from the Nidus network, but these Hydralisk units are going to start pecking away at the border. 1 manages to go down. Looks like Prismatic Alignment is in effect, but the Hydralisk count is too high. Looks like the 2nd one goes down. The 3rd one will go down as well. Too many Hydralisk carriers are on the field. They don't have any sort of upgrades for it. Actually, yeah, they do. They're going to shoot out those little interceptors very quickly, but it's only going to be 2 carriers versus a massive amounts of Hydralisk. Zealots are going to be blocking off their attack path. 1 carrier does go down. OneGun does try to micro 1 behind the Stargates, but it looks like finally the Zealot carrier combination manages to push away everything that Jay had. 9 more, it looks like 9 more Hydralisks in production, but you know what? Even though he did throw away plenty of units, managed to do, oh, there is still plenty. There he goes. Zerglings are finally going to go ahead and start swarming out, but the Nidus network is taken care of. Even though he did lose quite a bit of units, units lost have 54. Resources does favor OneGun. He managed to take a 4th in the process. So I would say a pretty decent trade for Jay.
Yeah, very much so. The funny part though is that our Protoss player still has a pretty decent little bank here to get things up and running.
Finally, the
And
Overseer spots that third base.
I was just about to mention that. Still hadn't seen it up until this point, but the jig is up now, and he knows it. A lot of photons going down.
And this is just panic mode at this point. You can actually cut that in half, resources wise, while building a little bit of a wall with 2 or 3 cannons at the front or behind the gateway wall, and to close off that northern section, and then destroy these rocks, and you'll have yourself a nice little decent wall there for quite some time. A little bit of a panic button by OneGun, but after that Nidus network, he's not taking any chances.
Yeah, but we do have another Nidus popping up right in front of this expansion, right as these photons finish. So those purchases may be justified right here, and no returns are offered.
Very true. The Nidus network finally pops, but we see a mothership on the way. Not a mothership core, mothership on the way, alongside with carriers. Looks like +1 weapons air for Protoss is being researched as well. Finally, the Hydras are going to push forward. It looks like force fields are going to cut half of those Hydras, but they're going to scoot around those force fields. Going to go ahead and stutter step micro, pick out those photon cannons one at a time. He's finally starting to focus down this pylon. One's going to go down in a second. A second one will survive, maybe. There it goes. It finally goes down. And now it looks like a mass evacuation by the OneGun. These probes are actually getting caught in that own pylon that was being warped in, and Jay is forced to abandon this third.
Yep, he's gonna have to make it this next push work here. I mean, he's got right now 5 carriers, 2 void rays, mothership. He's got 3 more carriers on the way. We'll just have to see what happens here, since his secret base is finally cleaned up, but he got a lot of resources.
Yeah, no, it was up and running for quite some time. A solid 8 minutes, I would say, and then finally this sky toss push is happening. Single stalker there for, I guess, scouting purposes, feeling a little bit froggy, but Jay wants no part of it, just heads back home willy-nilly, hunky-dory. Ooh, Baneling's being morphed in.
Yep. Yep, he got about 1,600 gas from those gases collectively from that base to kind of fuel this army here. And he does still have a hefty bank to where he could supplement this with these gateways he's morphing in here with these last couple carriers and really make a push out of it, because if he doesn't, I just think the time is now, or very close to now.
Yeah, very definitely. I mean, and it looks like that drops. Oh, drops. Baneling drops are going to happen. This is great play by Jay, even though it's happening up against a Protoss player. And this is exactly what you do when you want to do when you notice that your Protoss opponent is going for these slow lumbering units like the carriers, like the Colossi if you did build that. Just multi-pronged attack. As a Zerg, he's doing it perfectly. Nidus network drops. Attacking where your opponent is weakest. Great job by Jay to recognize that.
And look at these Lings scurrying across the map here, see if what they can get done here in the front. They do get in. 4 cannons are there, but they're not going to stop this entire thing. Oh.
3 more cannons there at the natural expansion. They're just going to start nibbling away. Mining time is lost yet again. Finally, the reinforcements from the Sky Toss is there. They're going to go ahead and clean up all of those Zerglings, but at the same time, there is a drop at that third. Why not explode on that Nexus? Looking at the workers kill count, 20 by Jay, 0 by OneGun. Oh man, and then another drop coming in from the north side of the map.
Yep, he's got about eight more Banelings here. Photon cans are on the way, and then 2 Stalkers made preemptively here because he did see them because of that pylon and geyser. So we'll just have to see what this does.
There you go, the first volleys there. Jay might lose this if he's not careful. 1 Overlord does go down full of Banelings, but the second one is down as well, so it withers like a deflated Overlord. It did fall out of the sky, but another drop coming up just straight up the middle. I mean, why not full back it all the way? Oh, oh man, I'm just loving this play out of Jay.
Yeah, we're just gonna he needs to just throw these units away, try to do as much damage as possible to specifically, I'd say, the infrastructure, and stall his time a little bit, because OneGun is getting a big air fleet together. He's got level 3 weapons about ready to finish up here, as well as 3 more carriers just finished, bringing his total up to 10 carriers with level 3 weapons. That's 67 in intercept.
But you know what? A mass drop in the main base of OneGun. He drops everything he has. and the infrastructure might go down. The carriers are there immediately. Vikings looks like Void Rays are there to clean it up. The drop was fairly unsuccessful, really, but instantly remaxed is Jay back home, since he is taking his actually fifth and sixth expansion as well. Mass Corruptors, and is this really the answer?
It can be. I mean, I've seen Mass Corruptor. They are great against capital ships such as battle cruisers. You know, cost efficiency wise, especially with that corruption. But he's not going to win with just Corruptors alone, and especially since he's got a little bit of catching up to do in the upgrade department. Because these carriers have level 2 shields and level 3 weapons. If he gets that armor going and continues that shields, he just crushed right through just by solely strong upgrades, and of course that mothership.
Very true. And now we see ground infantry army for Jay at 3-3. Zerglings push forward straight onto that Nexus, and it looks like Corruptors from the back focus fire the mothership. The mothership goes down, but at the cost of all of those Corruptors. Definitely not an equal trade, since there was about 8 to 9 Corruptors that were taken down very quickly, compared to the 500 or so minerals plus 500 gas that it takes to warp in the mothership. Not very cost effective, but still stalling for time, buying himself time, bringing up those extra hatcheries. He's already at hive tech. Has that infestation pit, and right now he's building 16 Mutalisks, 26 Zerglings, still continuing with that harassment style that he's been using this entire game.
Yeah, but I think that style is going to get less and less effective as time goes on, because his opponent, he retook that third base up there, kind of northern from the main here. Then he also has another fresh base up, which he's putting down a lot of cannons here. So that may really deter what he's trying to do with these Zerglings. I mean, and you're definitely right. He could have easily brought a few Overseers with that Corruptor attack, since he knew that mothership's already there, and just really subsidized his losses on the last battle.
13 carriers up for the OneGun. He is maxed out. It looks like another Nidus Worm is being placed in really the secret third that he had, but another little swing around by these Zerglings. These photon cannons is just way too much in numbers. Mutalisks are there, flying in for the north, and it looks like OneGun is just hanging out in the middle of the map. These Mutalisks have nowhere to go, nothing to do. They're finally up to 1-2, but still very much behind in the upgrade, especially since Protoss has 1, 2, 3.
Yep, that is correct, and he's just gonna keep pressing this advantage at this point. These carriers is definitely gonna favor them once they get to 3-3. Even if our Zerg player is close, it's still gonna be in a place where he wants, because right now we're gonna be looking at 104 interceptors, and each of those interceptors have their own individual damage, especially because of that graviton catapult that's just gonna keep turning him out faster and faster.
Again, it looks like Jay is just still stalling for time, but not sure what he's really stalling for time for, since his opponent OneGun is trying to retake his own force. We're going to see finally the pack of Mutalisks just incinerated by that Archon carrier combination. A little bit of a split action going down by Jay. This Zerg army is just going to get decimated, no question about it.
Yep. Still not moving that Overseer into position either, so this mothership is paying for itself in dividends in terms of hiding those units, protecting them, and really cutting any sort of losses he would take if his units were actually invisible.
If you look at the food count, before that battle, Jay was above 190. After the battle, he was at 90. He lost so much. Now he's effectively broke. He's essentially broke. Looks like OneGun still has a healthy mineral supplies, because he's putting down, looks like 20 or so cannons at a time. Zerglings are streaming forward. Yeah, Corruptors,
wow.
20 at a time. Wow, this is just out of hand. I don't really see Jay coming back from this.
Yeah, that hefty amount of cannons was just completely shutting down this Ling harassment that was effective for him. Oh, I think he's just gonna suicide these Banelings into this Nexus.
Yeah, there you go. It does have some hold damage, already 200 health down, but at the same time, there's a huge army of carriers, Void Ray, Archons, just coming up your flank. He does manage to take down that Protoss fourth with those Banelings, but he still has his own fourth across the map. You're losing your fifth. This is just going to be too much. Ultralisk on the field. are being morphed in. There's no answer to this, I don't think.
Nope, because it carries, especially the fact that these carriers are level 3 weapons. So again, they're going to be able to shred anything on the ground, including beefy Ultralists or speedy fast Ling. They're just going to die so
And
quick.
there you go. Jay taps out. GG's. That was a that was a great game by Jay early on, but he just continued on with that harassment, continued on with that pressure when he really should have just backed off and did tried something else, maybe throwing in some infestors in the mix. But who knows? We could just theorycraft all day, all night, and still not come up with a proper answer. But that's it for this replay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If not, leave comments down below on what we could do to make these more enjoyable for you. If you have one of your own replay casts you'd like for us, or replays you'd like for us to cast, upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.sc is popular. GG Tracker, also popular as well. Other than that, I'm done. Any parting words of wisdom? No.
It's really weird how the cartoons we knew as kids have a lot of innuendo.
That is true. That's it for me. I am out of here.
Later.